What does the delay tell you? I mean, usually these things are out on average at 12:12. It came about 20 minutes after that. Does that tell you, as a former board member yourself, that maybe the board is a bit divided on forward guidance or even rates decision?
I think that they're discussing about word on the forward guidance. But normally I think that the decision was decided even before the start of the meeting. So I don't know, but maybe some friction about the sentence of the new type of forward guidance. That could be a reason.
Right. We're going to hear from Kuroda-san later today at the press conference at 3:30. I mean, the last time there was a real delay in coming out with their rate decision was in April, when they added the forward guidance, basically saying that they would keep rates extremely low until the spring of 2020. Do you believe, given that they are clearly sending a signal to the market right now that they are willing to go lower, that perhaps they could also broaden the horizon? They'll keep that window open beyond the spring of next year.
Yeah, I think that the previous forward guidance is only discussing about the timing of the rate hike. But now that the BOJ has to see both directions in the futures, so BOJ changed that forward guidance to increase the maneuver of the monetary policy, and the BOJ may move in both directions. Of course, in the near future, I think that the BOJ is discussing about the possibility of rate cut or something like that. But in the course of the next year, I think that BOJ also have a view on the rate hike. So the current, I think that for the guidance is not consistent with the current very complicated BOJ's situations. That's the reason why that's change of the further guidance.
I see. It was also saying here that the will not hesitate to add easing if risks do rise. Basically, they're seeing that the short-term risks to the economy are perhaps growing. Do you see what are the biggest risks right now?
Yeah, I don't think so. It's just a word, just market, lip service to the market. And of course, that BOJ wants to reduce the risk of yen appreciation with such kind of a strong message. But I think that is not necessarily a pre-announcement of the rate cut in the near future.
Well, let's take a look at what the yen is doing. It was at 108.75. Perhaps the gallery can bring up the yen and see what that is doing. You said, though, earlier before we went to the break, that the yen appreciation, given the global external situation and perhaps risks in the United States, is more likely than a weakening.
Right. I think the risk is upside for yen. Of course, while the economy may keep that stability, I think that the yen will not appreciate. But I think that risk is upside. So, and the 100 is a very critical level from the psychological point of view. I think that 100 is not important from the economic point of view, but Japanese people is concerning that if that the yen appreciate to 100, that could have a very negative impact to that economy. I think that that's a misunderstanding, but government at the Bank of Japan have to consider this kind of concern for the public. So as a result, I think the BOJ's monetary policy is very, very sensitive to that yen appreciation.
Right. So in the last few minutes since this rate decision came out, again, the BOJ holding flat right now. The yen was at 108.73. It's now at 108.60 and change. So it strengthened just a little bit right now. So if they're going to keep the door open for more rates, perhaps in 2020, any way of predicting how far and how deep they would go on those already negative rates?
Yeah, I think that even in the case that the BOJ forced to take actions, cut the interest rate, I think that the BOJ imagined just one time. So I think that the BOJ is searching for the best timing to cut the interest rate, because of course, technically, BOJ may cut more. However, I think that this has a very negative impact to the profitability of the financial institutions, and I think that the market may react very negatively. So, anyway, BOJ have no prospect to the consecutive cut of the interest rate.
So instead of gradual, they will at least pay lip service, as you say, that they have the ability to cut rates. But then if they do it, they'll do it one-off.
Yeah, one-off. And BOJ basically doesn't want to take an easy monetary policy as much as possible, because it recognizes that a rate cut doesn't have a positive impact to the economy. And on the other hand, the side effect is very serious. So basically BOJ doesn't want to take actions. However, in case of sharp appreciation, BOJ have to take actions to avoid that criticism from the government and the public. In this sense, I think that BOJ's most purpose of that easing monetary policy in the future could be protecting that entity. So that's the main purpose, not to stimulate the economy.
So the bottom line is really no surprise today. They did alter a bit their forward guidance, and they basically stood pat on interest rates.
It's just about.
Just right now, and perhaps if they do cut next year, it'd be one cut, one and done.
Cut. Yeah.